So friends, let's see this delicious olya kajuchi usal, which is so very delicious. Now first I'll show you how to prep the cashews. So these are the raw cashews or the wet cashews as they call them. You have to wash them thoroughly well under running water, and then I've taken about 4 cups of of water for about 250 grams of cashews, and I'm going to put it into the hot water and let it boil for about 15 minutes on a low flame. You get this kind of a white scum. Keep removing it and let the cashews boil in this water for about 15 minutes on a very low flame. Now in the meantime, I'm going to roast 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds for about half a minute till you get the aroma of the cumin seeds. And then I'm going to grind it to a very fine powder in my in my mortar and pestle, or you can even use a dry grinder. So we want a very fine powder. Once the powder is done, just transfer it to a vati or a small cup and set it aside. You can also use the ready-made roasted cumin powder. Now here I have about 1 cup of freshly grated coconut, to which I'm going to add 1/4 cup of hot water, and I'm going to grind it to this thick paste. Now using a colander, I'm going to drain or strain the paste through a sieve, and then I'm just going to press it down with a spatula and extract the coconut milk. So this is the thick coconut milk. Now I'm going to repeat this process just once more, adding about 5 tablespoons more of the hot water. So in this way, we'll get about 1 cup of coconut milk. Now you can also use the ready-made coconut milk, or you can even use the the powder coconut milk that you get, where you have to mix it with hot water. You can use either of the any of the options, and you get about 1 cup of this lovely coconut milk. So here you can see I'm just repeating the process and getting the second extract, and this is 1 cup of thick coconut milk. So now our cashew nuts are nicely cooked. We're just going to transfer them to another vessel and let them come to room temperature, so we can actually start peeling them. Don't peel them when they're very hot, because then they'll tend to break. So let them come to room temperature completely. And then you will see that it's so easy to peel them. The peel just comes off easily like that. And then just separate them like this into 2 halves and set them aside. So this is a real summer recipe, because these ole kajus are only available, in the summertime. After that, they, actually dry them up and they become into cashew nuts, which we all love. But this is a real delicacy, and you must try it if you get your hands on these ole kajus. So you can see the peel is coming off really very easily after cooking it in some hot water. Now we're going to make the usal. So I've taken a pan, heated it up, and I'm adding about 1 tablespoon of oil. Now once my oil is nice and hot, I'm going to add half a teaspoon of mustard seeds or mohori or rye. Once the mustard seeds are nice and hot and spluttering, we're going to add half a teaspoon of cumin seeds, half a teaspoon of asafoetida or hinga, and we're going to add half a teaspoon of turmeric powder or haldi. Now mix all of this bagar well together. Now we're going to add our cashews, which we've peeled and separated. Saute this really well so it gets very nicely mixed up with the rest of the bagar. Now we're going to add the roasted and ground cumin powder that we prepared. So like I said, if you're using ready-made, you can use the ready-made one also. Next, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of red chili powder, or you can add it as per your taste. If you don't want it very spicy, you can go with half a teaspoon. If you want it a little more spicy, you can add just half a teaspoon more. Now I'm going to add just 1/4 teaspoon of goda masala, or if you don't have goda masala at hand, you can use garam masala. Now we're going to add some salt to taste. Now I'll leave the recipes for my homemade garam masala, homemade goda masala in the description box below, and you can make that at home too. And now we're going to add our 1 cup of coconut milk. Oh, the aroma in my kitchen is just mind blowing. It's amazing. And I just can't wait to dig into this. So I'm just going to use about 5 tablespoons of water into that coconut milk. So, just add about 5 tablespoons more of water. You can just rinse the coconut milk off. And now we're going to add 2 teaspoons of jaggery, or you can add as per taste. And I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of Kashmiri red chili powder for the lovely color. That's it, friends. And now all we have to do is cover it and simmer it or cook it on a very low flame for 10 to 15 minutes till everything really comes together well. And you will see how the color is so nice and rich, and it's thickened up a bit and it tastes amazing. Now, if you want it a little bit thinner, you can add about 1/4 cup of hot water and cook it for another 2 minutes or so. And that's it, friends. Now I'm just going to garnish with a little bit of coriander, fresh coriander leaves, which I've chopped up fine. Transfer it to a serving bowl. And this goes really well with some lovely hot pois or rotis or some lovely steamed rice with some lovely mango pickle at the side. And I'm just going to garnish it again with some chopped coriander. And that's it, guys. This lovely olya kajuchi usal.
Everyone, and welcome to my kitchen. I'm Akshata and you are watching Akshata's Recipes. The theme of my channel is to keep it simple, quick, yet delicious. So like all my other recipes, today's recipe too is going to be very simple to make, few ingredients, and the end result is going to be really delicious where you're going to want to make it again and again. So let's get started with today's recipe.
So, friends, let's see how to prepare this super simple yet delicious ambe dal. So here I've taken about 2 cups of ambe dal, of chana dal. Now this recipe is enough for 5 people. I've washed the dal well and I've soaked it for about 5 to 6 hours in some water. Now after 5 to 6 hours you will see that the dal has swelled up like this. Now we're going to drain all the water from the dal. Here I have about half a cup of shredded raw mango, about 3 green chilies cut, some salt to taste. We're going to use some sugar to taste. Now I'm also going to give a tadka. So for that I'm going to use about 2 dried red chilies, about half a teaspoon each of mustard seeds, haldi powder, jeera, and some asafoetida or hing. Now I'm going to coarsely grind my chana dal with my green chilies, my shredded mango. I'm also going to be adding salt to taste and some sugar to taste. So I'm grinding it very coarsely. I don't want a very fine paste. So your paste should look like this. So now we're going to give a fodni or a tadka. So here I've heated about 3 tablespoons of oil. You do require a little more than usual oil. Now I'm going to add my half a teaspoon of mustard seeds or mohri or rye. Once they begin to splutter, I'm then going to add my cumin seeds or my jeera. Again half a teaspoon. Next will go my haldi powder or my turmeric powder, again half a teaspoon, followed by asafoetida or hing. Then go in my dried red chilies. Now I'm going to fry all of this well till the chilies are nice and fried on a very low flame. And once my chilies are nice and fried, I'm going to put the gas flame off, mix everything well. And then I'm going to add this tadka or this fodni to my dal mixture. Then give everything a very good mix. See that all of the dal mixture is coated well with the tadka. And then I'm just going to add some chopped up coriander. You can also add some freshly grated coconut. And that is it, friends. Your lovely ambe dal is all ready. Just remember that you need to mix everything very well so that the oil coats all of the dal, because otherwise everything else is raw, as you know. So this tadka will really flavor the dish very, very well. So that's it, friends. Here is your delicious and simple ambe dal.
Well, friends, for our stuffing of our brinjals, we have taken 1 cup of fresh coconut, some tamarind pulp, goda masala, haldi powder, red chili powder, salt, and some gur or jaggery. Now, for the tamarind pulp, I have taken about a small lime-sized ball of tamarind and soaked it in half a cup of water for 15 minutes and then squeezed out all the pulp. Now we're going to cut the small brinjals on one side vertically and on the other side diagonally so that the brinjal doesn't break. Now when you're putting the stuffing, be extremely careful and gentle as to not to break the brinjal. So I'm using about 6 to 7 small brinjals. Now we are going to make this in a pressure pan, but you can also make it in a normal cooking vessel. It will just take about a little longer, about 10 minutes longer, till the brinjals are completely cooked. Of course, it always works out better in a pressure pan. Now we're not going to use all of the stuffing. You're going to keep about, say, 1 cup or half a cup of the stuffing, because that adds to the gravy and thickens the gravy up too. Now this goda masala is homemade. I will leave a link in my description box of how to make goda masala at home. It is extremely simple. So here, while I'm just finishing stuffing the brinjals, we're heating some oil in a pan. Now I'm using a little more oil than normal. So I'm using 2 tablespoons of oil instead of 1 tablespoon. Because we have to fry the brinjals a little so they become nice and crispy too. That also enhances the flavor of the dish. Now, once our oil is hot, we're going to use our normal fodni ingredients. So we're going to go in with half a teaspoon of mustard seeds or mohri or rye, followed by 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds or jeera. Then we're going to add half a teaspoon of asafoetida or hing and half a teaspoon of haldi powder. Now once our mustard seeds begin to splutter, now I is adding a little more hing, so you can go for about 3/4 teaspoon of hing for this recipe. Now we're just going to put in the brinjals. Now if you don't like brinjals, you can also use baby potatoes. I'll put a recipe up. It has the same procedure and the same ingredients, but you can use baby potatoes if you're not a big brinjal fan. So now we're going to saute our vanga or brinjals a bit in the lovely flavored oil.
see that you are generous with the stuffing inside the brinjal. Now we're just covering it. We're not completely closing up our pressure pan. We're just covering it, and we'll be repeating this procedure of covering for about a half a minute, again opening it, again stirring a bit, again closing it for two times, just to cook the brinjals a bit, and that also enhances the flavor of the dish. Now, one little kitchen tip I'd like to give you here is, to make your work easier, what I like to do is, as and when I'm cooking, I like to also clean up and clear up, in between cooking time. Like if and my brinjal is taking some time to cook, I like to just put away all the spices that I've taken out, or all the coconut from the refrigerator, or the salt in its place. That really helps, and it makes work easier. I mean, instead of just, I've seen some people when they're cutting onions, they have peels all over, they have, all spices lying over. Their entire kitchen platform is full of, stuff. So as and when you have the time, when your, vegetable is cooking, just clear up. It keeps your kitchen looking nice, it makes you feel good, and it also lessens your work of clearing up so much of trash at one time. Like for example, if I'm chopping up onions, the peels, I always like to keep a paper bag and just put all of them together, so I can just, I don't have to go to the waste paper bin 10 times. I can just go once and for all and, just throw up all the trash there. So now you can see that the brinjals have become a darker color. Now we're going to add in all the rest of the stuffing with a little bit of water, because we don't want to waste any of the amazing stuffing. So just add a little bit of water and clear up all the stuffing. As the old saying goes, waste not, want not. That's what we learn from our elders. Make use of everything, don't waste anything. Now one more tip over here is use fresh coconut, guys. Don't use, frozen coconut, or it gives a different flavor when you use freshly grated coconut. Now look at the rich color of this dish. Doesn't it already look so appetizing? Now to cook this brinjal, we're going to add about 1 cup of water. Now it all depends upon how thick or how thin you would like to have your gravy. So you can add water if you want a thinner amount of gravy. So I'm adding about 1 tablespoon of dhania powder or coriander powder, and 1 teaspoon of cumin powder or jeera powder. Now we've already added salt in the stuffing, so if you feel like you want to add some salt, just give it a little bit of a taste. This bharli vangi, like I said, goes extremely well with some bhakri or some steamed rice or even puri. You can always check and taste whether you need to add more chili powder, more gur for sweetening, more tamarind water. It has a very sweet, spicy and sour flavor. And it gets ready also very quickly. Now to prepare the brinjal, initially what I like to do is I cut off the peel, wash it, cut off the tips rather, not the peel, wash it a bit, cut it up, and then keep it in some salt water for about 5-10 minutes, and then give it a thorough wash before using it for this recipe. So now we're just waiting for the gravy to come to a little bit of a boil. And then we're just going to seal the pressure pan, close it up, and then cook it for 2 whistles on high, and then keep it for 5 to 10 minutes on a slow flame. And then once your cooker is, and then put this flame off, and then once your cooker has completely cooled down, or your brinjals are completely cooked, then you can open up your pressure pan or your cooker, and all you have is just amazing bharli vangi. So there it is, friends, all ready, just garnished with some amazing coriander, and you're all set for a lovely lunch or dinner. I hope